It's Friday again, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo!
It's a St. Ferris Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. That means it's time for another episode of the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. Today, Destiny will choose 3 indie comic campaigns for us to review. After offering some tips and some feedback, we will choose one to support because stay to the end to see what shows, because in the end,
there can be only one.
I gotta say, I miss having Ray. Ray, if you're out there, you're listening, you see this, I miss it. I miss having someone helping me push all these buttons. I've been sort of frantic this morning trying to get a lot of stuff done. So I almost hit the wrong button. I don't know if you noticed. I almost hit the ending button.
I did. I saw you kind of fumbling. If you would like to be in show business, you are more than welcome to come and have an amazing salary of nothing and be our producer.
Unless you can come with a sponsor. We are looking for sponsors.
Sponsorship is appreciated, approved, and otherwise welcome. So you are a comic book store owner or a business that could benefit from the exposure and optics of our Happy Metal show.
Oh, God. The dreaded exposure word.
The exposure. I fucking hate that word.
Right?
But the exposure. Oh.
We all do. So honestly, yeah, we want to expand. We want to do more videos. We want to do some more like different types of videos. I want to do more videos on like breaking down how to do things, how to set up a Kickstarter, like have certain steps and walkthroughs. I want to talk about panel layout and story structure. I actually want to do a video where I compare like what we saw in the pitch compared to what we got in the comic that was delivered that we backed, and that kind of thing. So yeah, a lot of plans, but a lot of that takes editing time, takes some work, and we need a little help to get that done. So
planning is not our strong suit. No.
It's just I don't have enough time. I mean, neither do you really. Between the two of us, we have so many irons in the fire. You've got 5280 Geek. It's a show. You're going to different shows. So, tell us all the things that you've got going on.
Oh, 5280 Geek. I've got the Colorado Ghostbusters, which will be making more appearances, not only here in Colorado, but across the country. Come by, say hi, support your local scientists. The Colorado Festival of Horror, which we've announced Sybil Danning as our first guest. More guests to be announced shortly, but that's our 5th year of doing that. And I mean, 5280 Geek is over 10 years old, and Colorado Ghostbusters is over 10 years old. And I mean, it just does. And now there's more stuff coming like this, and I got voiceover work coming up, and I mean, and cons, and more cons. I went to, so last week, I hope you missed me. I missed you. I tried to watch the show, but I was too busy at the Cincinnati Horror Hounds convention, and that was pretty good.
Well, we had a great guest host, Benjamin, who's actually with us right now in the comments. He did a great job. He has a channel that reviews all these indie comics, and so he got a lot of exposure. And some people reaching out to him. He's with us today. I love what he said. He said, if we do a video called What We Saw versus What We Got, some people's feelings are going to get hurt. Maybe we'll find a different way to word it.
We might have to word it just a little bit differently, because I feel you, because sometimes you don't mean to be abrasive, but it just kind of comes out that way. Story of my life. So
I mean, I love indie comics. I get I love how Benjamin's site breaks down stuff without getting too personal. He's like got a rating system for how much gore, how much sex, nudity, and it's just very easy to like just see what this comic's all about without having any like personal bias behind it.
Right. So it's
yeah,
it's got okay.
It is, but it's also like I said, like there's no opinion behind it. Like, you know, I really love this. You got to go see this, you know, and then you get it and you're like, I don't love this, you know. It's just this is what's in it. This is what happens, you know, very, very clear cut. In fact, I think today he might be dropping one for Mythica issue 9, if I'm not mistaken. And Benjamin, isn't that right? But you were talking about this past weekend. What were you going to say?
So it's amazing to me because the con landscape is starting to change again. And we see this periodically as trends come and go, come back again. Some succeed, some burn horrible deaths. And that's fine because it's pop culture. But the trend that I'm starting to see more and more is the cons are getting a little more money hungry. We're seeing an increase in ticket prices. We're seeing an increase in table prices, yet they're not getting anything more for the buck. The vendors are getting smaller spaces. The Artist Alley is a joke. I mean, if you pretty soon you guys are going to be setting up on card tables because they just want to cram as many artists in there as humanly possible, and you're getting charged more. And here's what I'm seeing. So here's a perfect example. Celebrity this past weekend, I'm not going to name names, for a autograph that is personalized to Smurf, my number one fan, love, blah, 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 blah. That is $70. Okay. Now, if you just want that same celebrity to sign something, you bring up your Pops figure, they just sign their name, they put it back in your hot, greedy, sweaty little hand, and you trottle on up. That is $140. So yes, wrap your brain around that for just a second. $140 for
it's more money to have them not personalize it.
Correct. That way, they're getting their cut from the eBay sales. In case you decide to flip it.
Well, this started a long time ago. I can remember there were YouTube videos of people trying to go get a custom commission from Adam Hughes at San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
And he only took like the first 10 or 20 people, and then he was like, that's all I can do in a weekend, so I stopped right there. So this guy in this video, I remember watching him, and this was like 10 years ago. He was fourth in line at San Diego Comic-Con. And if you've ever been to San Diego Comic-Con, you know this line is like miles long. He's fourth in line. He probably had to camp out. And he had missed it the last 3 years in a row. He didn't get from the door to the table in time because everyone's just mad dashing, right? Well, Adam Hughes, in the video, he finally does get his things. So that was great. But then Adam Hughes decided in the following years that he kept seeing all of his commissions showing up on eBay, that all the people that were mad dashing to get to his table were just there to flip them. And so what he did is he said, all right, I'm not going to do this anymore. Instead, what I'm going to do is 2 weeks before the con, I'm listing up 2 commissions on eBay starting at $1,000. And they just start going up. And the bidding war began. He's like, why should I let you go out there and make all this money off of my work instead of it going? He's like, in his opinion, if someone's willing to pay $2,000-$3,000 and bid on it, they're a fan. They are wanting that work. And that is who he wants his work to go to, not people who are just there to flip it. And so that was one thing I started seeing a long time ago. But secondarily, and I think a lot of people can relate to this if they've been doing cons for a while. When I first started doing conventions in like 2012, 13, 14, all in the teens, when I would go to a convention like Denver Comic-Con when it first started, not only did you pay for a table, but you got your own page on their website. And you could upload an exclusive for that show, for that event, and it would be there for people to see. And so I would do shows and sell out exclusives within the first few hours because people knew about it. They were able to check me out. I got business. Now the tables are 3 times as more expensive, and they don't give us any publicity at all.
None
if you
whatsoever.
go to their convention sites, it's all celebrity, 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 because they have a guarantee. They're like, if we don't make $10,000, then the convention owes us that money. So they're trying to make sure they don't end up in debt, but they don't give 2 shits about the artists.
Nope.
And
we're starting to see
it's not going to get any
more.
better.
No, and in fact, you've got cons that are doing, and I call them microtransactions because it's what they are. Little events that are inside the con that now you have to pay for, when previously they were free, and you can just kind of go and enjoy the con, the experience. But that is now an additional cost. You have the celebrity experiences, which they're charging out astronomical prices for what you would do anyway, as far as standing in line and getting your signature, getting your picture, and all of that. And it's getting worse. I mean, the celebrity that I got the signature from did a combo for $100. That was actually the common price. $100 for a signed item and a picture with the celebrity at the table. $100. So I was like, okay, we'll do that. I mean, Henry Winkler was there, so I went and did that with Winkler. Winkler was great. The man was amazing. But then we lose George Foreman and Shatner retires. I'm like, fuck, I got to get Henry Winkler before he's gone.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised he's still around, to be honest with you.
I mean, that man is still trucking. But I'm worried about the state of the cons. And here we're trying to help you get noticed. We're trying to get visibility on you and your campaign and what is best practices and our experience of what we have seen that has helped, that have had a positive impact. Like the old days of the Comic-Con, we're here to promote you and help you hit your goals. Because how many active campaigns are out there right now?
Oh, you would ask me that. Let's see. Kickstarter.
You always have this up. I thought you had like a ticker right there by your desk.
I usually do. Like I said, I've been a little scatterbrained this morning trying to do a billion different things. So currently, there are, it's jumped up, ladies and gentlemen. Currently, there are 314 campaigns. So we are in the peak of Kickstarter, and I'll probably stay in the 300s all summer long.
Oh, easily.
Matt Knowles is with us. He had a show. He was on just a few moments ago, and I was like, man, I really want to watch this because he was talking about Reacher, and I love that show.
Dude, oh my god, the season finale was
don't tell me.
So I've only
seen like the first 4 episodes of the final season, so I'm just waiting for them to trickle in on my Plex. But I definitely want to go check out Matt, and also I believe Matt might have a campaign on our wheel.
Nice.
Trying to remember.
Right. Welcome, Matt. Yeah, but Reacher, oh my god, that's like every situation I get into now, I say, what would Reacher do?
Yeah. I will say in the last season, like he's killed people kind of nonchalantly a couple of times. Like the guy he stuffed under the desk, like he didn't think twice about that. I'm like,
he didn't know. And
that guy really wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just gonna be loyal to his boss and say, you're something's up with you and I don't trust you. And he killed him. I'm like, I thought you had a code, man. You just like
I don't think he realized that the paper holder was there, and I think he just meant to slam his head on the desk and then went, oh, oops. But I mean, when I pushed that leg and you hear the bones snap, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. That was some good sound effect work.
Oh my god. But yeah, and dude, that other bodyguard, I thought Alan Richardson was just massive, but
oh my god, that dude is huge. I can't believe he makes him look small,
tiny, like itty bit. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that dude's like 7'8" or something. I forgot his name, but I had to go look him up right after that because Reacher was a huge guy, and that's actually so. I don't think he could do it because I don't think he could pull off the range of acting and the Scottish dialect. But I would love to see someone like him play Magnus because he's got the build for it. But yeah, I don't know.
You need to get that one guy that was in American Gods. That was the Leprechaun. That dude is jacked.
I'll have to go back and look and see who that is. But
yes, just he would be perfect for Magnus. And
Fred Schwartz says he'd love to see Reacher play Batman or Alan Richardson.
Oh yes, please.
And that's you wouldn't need a bodysuit at all. That's for sure.
He just
I don't know
up with the cape.
Again, I don't know. I don't know if he'd play the billionaire playboy part. I mean, I don't know, but you're right. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I don't know. He could maybe do it. I'm sure he could. He's got range.
And that's the thing. Like I said, that's why I was like not sure that he could play Magnus because there's some heartfelt moments. There's crying. There's loss. There's obviously he does anger really well, but like in Reacher, he's so stoic that you don't really get a chance to see anything else. So I'm not sure what his full range is, but I do love his build. I love his when I want Magnus to be stoic. I think he's perfect. And also, again, he'd need a really good dialect coach to like have some Scottish accent. But all right, guys, let's get to what you came here for. The Wheel of Destiny. We have a ton of entries today. It's probably the biggest we've had so far this year. Let's see. Share screen. We want the Wheel of Destiny.
He was in Halo.
Look at this wheel. We've got 16 total entries. I'm going to read them off really fast. You ready? We've got The Ballad of Nod, Evie and the Helsings, Gun Street Girl, LCS 1 and 2, Bad Wabbit, Sword of Justice, Super Guy, The Devil's Contract, Venus Rises, Sacrimony, Cat and Mouse, Ruxy Vampire, Grim Space, Shakespeare's Vampire, No Spell Lasts Forever, and Misfits Clubhouse. I just love it. I feel like we need an applause there, but my tech guy wasn't here on cue at the end.
Did you say Wabbit like Elmer Fudd?
I did. I feel like it is. It's spelled that way with a W. At first, I thought it was maybe me, but all right. So we've got 16 total entries. This is going to be a big day. Thank you, Dead Cosmos. He's got the applause going. Yeah, this is why I need a tech person back here pushing buttons. We got all kinds of like ready-made stuff to upload to shove in your faces. That's what she said. But I can't get to them fast enough while I'm talking. So speaking of pre-made stuff, let's jump into this one.
Let's fucking go.
There can be only one Highlander type situation. Behold, my wheel of
Destiny.
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Time to spin the wheel.
Oh,
all right.
His name, Pablo Schreiber. That's the guy that can play Magnus. Look him up. He was in Halo.
Schreiber.
Yeah, he was
all right, I'll look him up.
In Halo. Look him up.
I will look him up. All right, we're ready. Are you ready?
I am.
You sure? You didn't sound very sure.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go. All right, here we go. Wheel of Destiny.
Go.
Entry number 1. For all those listening at work, you're gonna have to mute now because we're hitting F-bombs. Oh! Look at this. We got LCS number 1. Congrats. You made it on the wheel. Now, if I remember right, LCS made it on the wheel when they first went around a long time ago for issue 1. So, wait a minute. Why didn't that come off? I think I hit the wrong button because I was talking. There we go. Now it's off there. All right, number 2. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna be? Something called the Ruxy Vampire. And that's why I didn't hit remove. That leaves our last one. The third and final entry for this week's Wheel of Destiny. Number 3 is the Devil's Contract. All right, congratulations, everybody. I'm going to keep these up in case one of these that we open isn't live or something like that. If your campaign is basically, I leave these on there all week, and then I add on the new ones. If your campaign has expired, then I take it off. And so if your campaign is still live next week, it'll still be on the wheel, get another chance. Saves me having to re-enter stuff on the wheel each week. And if you know other people that are having campaigns, you want to support them, feel free to throw that on there. But be sure and tag them in it so they know that we are going to be, going over their campaign. Matt says, try number 176 will be our lucky charm. The wheel is fickle. The wheel is fickle. Like I said, maybe one of these might not be live and we'll have to spin again. That's why I leave them up. All right. So I have so many tabs up here. They're all squished together and I can't see them. So let's start flipping through some of these. I do want to give a shout out to a couple things. Fisticuffs was our winner 2 weeks ago when you were on the show. They've got about 62 minutes left on their campaign. So be sure and go check them out. I will drop a link here in the chat to see if it works.
Hopefully they hit goal. Hopefully they're doing well.
They did hit goal. They did hit goal. But we backed them 2 weeks ago. Also, I want to give a congratulations to Zombie Date Night, the winner of last week's show when Ben was on the show with me. They did put together a great campaign. So be sure and check those guys out too. All right, take that tab off. Ballad of Nod did not make it this week. They have 47 hours to go, so they won't be on the show either next week. So be sure and check them out. Evie and the Helsings only has 4 days to go, so they won't be on here. They're at 255 backers. So
damn.
Evie and the Helsings, that looks fun. Go check that out. Misfits Clubhouse only has 13 days to go, which means they're going to be on the wheel next week. This next week's going to be it. It's going to be their 174th try, and they're going to win. We did have one from Fund My Comic called Cat and Mouse that I was curious to see what happened because we've only been on Fund My Comic one time before, and it's a different format. I want to get to know that format. So if any of you guys have ever supported or know anything about that, feel free to throw it in the chat and share what you know about it, because I don't know a whole lot. I don't know.
It's not a very intuitive browser, in my opinion. I don't like that one very much.
Kenna Sullivan was with us. Says hello. Hello.
Hello, Ken.
All right, we got Ruxy Vampire still on the list. Wow, they have a lot of backers too. Shakespeare's off the list. Grim Space is off the list. Where is the Devil's Contract? Did I not? Oh, there it is. Super Guy is off the list. There's so many up here. Venus Rises. It's not on the list. So we got LCS. Bad Wabbit has 13 days to go as well. So they've got one more chance to be on the wheel. Actually, those are the two that I really want to see. If you haven't already checked these out, I intend on going and checking these out regardless, because I've seen both of these in campaigns on other shows, and they both look really interesting. But I'm trying not to like see too much unless they appear on the show, in case they appear.
You don't want to taint your.
I don't want to taint.
You don't want to taint it.
Yeah, there's so many good ones out right now. I mean, like I said, we've got over 300 campaigns in the market right now. All right, now we're down to Roxy Vampire, LCS, and the Devil's Contract. So LCS is our first one. Let's go to share this tab, and let's go here. Oh, your browser lost connection. All right, let's do that again. Try it again. There it is. There it is. There it is. LCS. Sometimes I don't like when I jump from one tab to the next. All right. LCS number 2. Let's go a little bit. No, that'll work. LCS 1 and 2, a post-apocalyptic comic about comic collecting. A series of global catastrophes have left life on Earth decimated and made comic collecting a huge disaster. They are just about at goal, $3,005 out of $3,333. So they were just like within a few dollars, like less than $25. Maybe we could see them hit goal while we're live on the show. That would be great. Awesome. So this is a post-apocalyptic comic about comics. I mean, this is made for the comic book geeks. And they've got 158 backers. So can we make this pitch get our interest? And can we find anything to help make this comic campaign more successful next time around? Now, one thing I already see right away is we've got the Projects We Love tab down at the bottom. So good job.
Which is a nice little caveat to to a campaign. Jesus, all of a sudden the words just
words are hard.
Words are hard.
All right, let's see what this video tells us. Is there sound?
I went into town for the first time this year. Nobody was around, even the rats were not here.
That's weird.
Ooh, did they say they were leaving? Did they even leave a note? I'm looking on every post for any kind of a sign. Maybe an arrow to show me the way. Did they leave here for the day? Or are they hiding and afraid?
The abrupt cuts, man. I love you, John. I love you, but those abrupt cuts, man, they're killing me.
Those hard cuts are, you know what? As much as I like them, I dislike them because they did exactly what they're meant to do, and that is to get your attention. You're listening, you're going along, and all of a sudden the music stops, and you can't help but look up, and he hooks you with some kind of quick, bit of information. I have no idea what this campaign's about. There is no information. I'm sure that music is copywritten, protected somewhere, so that's going to trip a fuse. But that was fun. I liked that. And I don't know anything about the comic.
Yeah, Benjamin says that cutoff was drawing. I thought it got paused. I did too. And so, I love what you're going for, like the break. One thing that you could do in there is to add a sound effect that's different than music, like a chime or, something like, this, something that, because I've learned this from doing YouTube and like studying editing a lot. That's becoming like a side passion of mine, is just learning video editing and how to keep people's interest. But a lot of people, especially on these these type of situations are not completely tuned in. They're not just sitting here staring at it, watching it. They're sort of like, turn it on and then they're kind of watching other things, and they're kind of glancing back and listening. And that's the whole reason for sound effects, to like pop their head back and go, what was that? What was that? I think that the cutoff has the potential to do that. However, by the time that they turn their head, that word might be gone. So
because that ticker did go by fast. I was like, oh, and I thought you saw me doing my lighter thing, like free bird. And I thought you thought I was waving you like, nope, I'm out. I wasn't tapping out. I was just kind of like doing this and then the cut. I'm like, oh crap, he did see it. I don't know. I think it accomplishes a lot, but it leaves a lot to like. It's not a common practice.
Chris brings up an interesting point. Wondered if they're trying to get around copyright by doing multiple shorter clips. Maybe. I feel like I don't know. We'll find out from John. He'll let us know. But so when I look at the video, one of the things that I'm gonna like turn the music off on this one. So I'm going to kind of go through and give some pointers that I feel, and you can give some as well, because one of the things that you mentioned that should probably be the first thing that's addressed is that we don't learn a lot about what's going on. And so the most important thing for a video is, what it is, what am I getting? And then the tone is probably the third thing, right? And now you can absolutely create a juxtaposition sort of tone of like soft, calm music with violent things happening. We've seen that in movies, but it's tricky. So the first one here, oh, go ahead.
No, and I say Walking Dead accomplished that a lot. And I think the music and how you present everything does kind of set the tone. If that truly is the tone, I think that's an excellent and well executed approach to it. If that truly is the tone that you're going for. But again, so is it just violence waiting to happen? Or, I mean, there's still a lot to be decided. So continue.
Well, I want to point out, Josh says that cut made my ADHD go ouchie. Same thing. I was like, what's going on? No, you can't do that. And so I think you're going to have mixed reviews on that. But so the first thing is a lot of people will open with their logo. Okay. Remember that you've only got a few seconds before people bail out anyway. On average, I'm sure all of you that have done campaigns can go look and see the statistics of when people start dropping off watching your video. It's generally within the first 30 seconds, if not less, right? So why use up those few precious seconds with a logo for a company that they don't really know yet, right? I understand. I understand that you're trying to brand, but maybe put that branding logo like up in the corner, similarly to the way I'm forgetting to do right now with ours. Let me pop those up real quick.
There we go. There's nothing wrong with putting like a watermark or 2 hours in the corner somewhere in that. But again, people don't care. I mean, they want to be.
I hate to say that so abruptly, but yeah, for the most part, you're right. They want to know what they're paying for, what they're getting first. And then if you get to the point that you're a recognizable entity, like, if it was coming from Marvel, I'd probably know, it was a Marvel book, but, I'd expect to see their logo at the beginning. But so, yeah, maybe put it at the end, maybe put it like at a midpoint, but you've only got a few seconds. So we got to get to it, right? You got to get their attention. And then we start off with this slow intro. With some devastated artwork going on here. And that looks cool. And then we got that, abrupt cut. Now, on this one, I would have put some movement on it, like a slow zoom in or something. So it's just not just completely stagnant. just to give it some animation, some movement. A zoom in is pretty easy to do. And then we got this cut, right? So it went silent. We heard this. Well, on this one, it's telling us when it's coming out as it's coming out. It's March right now. So this was a video that was made maybe earlier at some point. And so you're telling me something right now that's redundant, right? And then we have this with this other shot. All right. So, and I know I'm nitpicking here, but I'm trying to help. So I hope it's being taken that way. But so far we are, let's see, I'm going to pause this when it ends. Okay. So we're 20 seconds in.
We're back to the logo again, too.
And we're back to the logo, right? So we're 20 seconds in. All we've seen is 2 shots of devastated buildings and some calm playing music. So it's not told me anything about the story. It doesn't really tell me, a whole lot of information. And it doesn't have like that exciting action. So when you're choosing what shots to put on your campaign and what shots to put in your video, try to consider the most attention getting interesting shots. Obviously an action shot is going to do well. A sexy shot is going to do well, but environment shots are just kind of telling us where we're at. And that's information that I only need to see like very briefly. And then we move on. And then as Smurf pointed out, we have part-time comics again. And now we're at a cover. So we're at 23 seconds in. We're at the point where a lot of people are going to be like, okay, I haven't seen anything. I'm going to go scroll down now and see what else this is going to tell me. So hopefully that you're getting my point here, that in those first precious few seconds, you want to really grab their attention, either with your Benjamin, who has got a lot of experience looking at campaigns, said violence and sexy are the big 2 options. You can also open with a brief shot of yourself and say, hey guys, it's me, I got a campaign here, check it out, right? So you got like 3-5 seconds and then you jump in, but still, even at that point, you're going to want to open with something exciting. So yeah, we see the cover here, and then we see another cover, and then we see 2 of 2, back to final issue because all things must end. So again,
this is the final issue for this. Yeah, see that?
So it's 2 of 2, right?
So that's it.
So I would definitely say that the video may not be doing a ton of good, because I feel like by the time that people are getting the information, they might have already tuned out.
Yeah.
And then here at the end, this stuff happens really fast. Like we got four covers here to look at, and I'm just going to hit play, and you got 1 second to see all 4 of those covers. So, and then you've got, these last shots. So I would say, give us some information and set the tone. Is it violent? Is it funny? I don't know which yet. I just know that it's a lot of stuff going on. John's actually at the zoo, so he can't hear us, but I'm sure it's all bad things. Go back and listen to this. Hopefully you'll get some good stuff out of it.
And
all right.
I like the color palette. I like the tone that he's kind of setting with, the post-apocalyptic take on it. And I know I've visited this when we reviewed the first issue, that I love the premise, but again, I'm not getting as much information to kind of carry me over that hump. I'm on the hill, I'm just not over it. So to see these kind of little tidbits, these little morsels, I would have opened up with those covers, and then screw the logo, screw all of that, open up with those amazing covers, so people are like, ooh. And then I'd still keep the music, simply just because I think it's funnier than hell. But just open with those covers and then give us something explosive as far as interiors, and then kind of pepper it out.
I actually think opening with that soft music for like 3 to 4 seconds and then cutting to something intense with some action sequences would be a fun approach, because then it's like, boom, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's see if the story section tells us anything. Here it says, a series of global catastrophes has left life on Earth decimated. The survivors are left to sit through the ashes for those last key issues amongst the wasteland of rubble and pop vinyl.
To be fair, that is exactly what I would do at the end of the world. I'm going to go find me a Detective 28.
Don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to go find it.
I'm going to go find it.
Yeah, who are you going to sell it to? What are you going to do? A group of Chicago survivors run the last comic shop on Earth. They're out on a supply run, and their salvage trip becomes a rescue mission. Issue 202 picks up right where we left off. Cole and Jens have separated at the wrong time, and their partnership may be at its end. If you read issue 1, you'll know why the rescue mission dividing them is a big freaking deal. Well, what if I didn't? I guess I better. This is 24 pages, 22 pages plus extras. So there we go. That tells us what we have. And again, when you had the last comic book shop on Earth, who are you selling these comics to? They're like, I need food and supplies and water. What do you got? Comics. Sorry. Okay, I'm in the wrong place.
I mean, I'm dedicated.
Can I use it to wipe my butt? Can I use Detective 52 to wipe my butt?
Never did like Superman.
Josh says you could use it to decorate your war pit, which kind of looks like what Smurf has going on right now. Is his war pit? He's got his food and he's got his comimes. You don't need anything else. How else do you spend the day in an apocalyptic? Especially when you're stuck in a bunker, you got to be entertained.
Got to do something.
But I wonder, are they taking cash? They take water? Like, what do they pay for?
That's a good question.
So now here's a shot we wanted right here. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on this. This would have been a great shot to have. Whoops, wrong page. I need to be on this one. There we go. All right, so here we have this zombie-looking thing, like punching this dude out, screaming "nerd" while he punches him. He's like, "Nerd!"
Nerds.
And then he's on the ground, and we got some action happening. So these 4 or 5 panels would have been a really intriguing hook to have on the video. I feel like. So just food for thought for next time. I'm loving that you put them in your campaign section, but we are a little bit down. So you might have seen it earlier in the video. Then we got this cool shot with some movement going on there. And then we got a kid with one eye, like a Cyclops kid. That's interesting. And then we got the rewards. So one of the rewards is a glowing metal cover, which is kind of cool looking.
That's nice.
It's metal and it glows. So I got metal covers, and as we were packaging them, my girlfriend got cut by one of them because they're so sharp. So imagine if you had one that was glowing, probably get cut and infected and become a zombie, and then you have like zombie blood all over it. That would be a nice way to end out this radioactive campaign. Mm-hmm. Let's see what the rewards tell us. We've got the digital PDF, which is $4. We got the book in print, which is $7. We have LCS 1 and 2 for $7. This is a great deal. 2 comics for $7, pretty good price. Especially on Kickstarter. This whole campaign is to launch the zombie apocalypse. Yes, they're basically going to give out metal covers that are radioactive. People will cut themselves. Then this story becomes real life, and bada boom, bada bang. It's the greatest story ever told.
Patient zero.
We got variant covers. We got LCS 1 and 2 in print for $13. That's another good deal. Let's see. A lot of $30 and $40, $45. The Metal Glow in the Dark issue 2 is $55. They had an early bird that's, I think it's gone. Original art for the variant cover is $125. That's a steal. $100 for any cover is a good deal. Bada boom, bada bing funded. Yes. Let's see. Early bird. I'm trying to find. All right. The original art for cover 2, $150, has been taken. And so.
And that's a deal. Original comic book cover art? Okay, that's pretty
yes.
Cool. That's a good deal.
Yes. So so that was for cover 1. So this is $125 for a variant of cover 2. So they paid for the standard cover. And they've got 2 of those. 2 different variants, both $125. So I'm assuming the comic is already done, so you can't really write or draw people into the comic. But you might be able to have like a custom sketch or a sketch cover, like draw me as a zombie, something like that. That would be a good tier to include. In fact, I just finished up. I'm going to show off my sketch here. I just finished up a commission for my Kickstarter. One of my biggest tiers was the producer tier. And not only did they get the original art in a custom frame by Collect to Display, but they also got a sketch cover with the original sketch on it. So this is the original. They get to request what they wanted. And so they wanted to see, is it Mobius or Morpheus? The dream character. Morpheus.
Yep.
I wanted to see Morpheus, aka Dream, and Magnus. So I put that together, and that'll be going out to them. So with that and the cover, I mean, the whole thing was like $600, but somebody got it, right? Those whale tears can put you over the edge. So there we have it. That's the campaign. What did you guys think? Thanks, Josh. I'm going to refresh this and see if it's gone up since we've been talking. Not yet. What are you waiting on? Go back this comic right now. All right. So that brings us to number 2, which is Roxy Vampire. Oh, excuse me. Roxy Vampire. It's with you. Let me go back and share this screen. And share this tab instead. Yes, there we go. Oh, didn't want to share it again. For some reason, it doesn't like it today when I'm sharing, like switching from one tab to the next. Some days it's fickle. Just got to go with it.
You're preaching to the choir on fickle electronics lately.
All right. So this is Roxy Vampire 1 and 2. Action-packed and sexy supernatural fantasy. I think Mythica could be described that way. Mm-hmm. They have a $10,000 goal. Yes. BMD said, Benjamin says, that's how you open a video. Boobies. Right? Again, these things get people's attention. And, you know, as Ben said, violence, action, and sexy are the 3 things that are going to get people's attention the fast. Can your story have more than that? Absolutely.
Of course,
but,
it could have some substance.
Those are the things that are going to hook people fast. And when you only have a few seconds, that's generally the way to do it.
You need eye-catching.
Yep. All right, so they're at a $10,000 goal. They have $7,913 raised so far with 187 backers, but they have 21 more days to go. So they are well on track. The log line at the top says a gorgeous vampiress steps deeper into the seedy underworld of shady gangsters, envious demons, and bootleg debauchery. This reminds me of a book series that I've just been discussing recently about a girl that is a necromancer in the world of vampires, in a world where vampires are like citizens. And so she's like fighting and solving crime in vampires. Somebody probably knows what I'm talking about. There's a whole series of them. It's very popular. It's also very sexy sometimes. So a lot of females read it. All right. Let's see what this video tells us and how pay particular attention to how it opens. All right. Is it going to get our attention in the first 20 to 30 seconds? Let's go full screen, at least this screen, and go here. All right. There you have it. I wanted to take a quick moment to back this up right here. Come on, where's it at? Why aren't you? Maybe I need to refresh it. Just wanted to go back a few frames and it's locked in on that last frame. All right. First of all, right here. We have seen this before. This is a third-party company who's making videos for your Kickstarter. Most of the ones that I've seen, they've done a great job, and I gotta say, I was pretty impressed by this one.
Yep.
Sound effects, music, the way that things are cut and edited make a huge difference. What were your takeaway? What did you think of this video?
I'm right there with you. These guys just continue to hit the cheap seats with every video we have seen them do. It's professional. It's focused on the right things as far as eye-catching, action. It still kind of gives us a bit of the story. So we kind of, we see the vampires in action. We see the gangsters in action, obviously. And then everything goes sideways. I've got a lot of answered questions. I want to know more. It's just, these guys just, they have definitely found their niche. They really deliver.
I actually proposed this to Ray, who used to be with us, is that there was a market for this. And these guys have jumped on it. That doesn't mean that there's still an opportunity for other studios to do this, but you can put together template-based packages. I have an account with Envato Elements where there's like sound effects and already pre-made like things that you can just drag and drop. And I see some of the effects going on in there. And so it doesn't take a lot of time. And it is something I've considered like starting a business doing, but that's what they're doing. They see a market here of right now there's 300 Kickstarters just in comics that need videos. They're like, hey, this is all we do. So if you guys are interested in making videos and you're struggling to make videos, or you're getting feedback from us saying, hey, your video sucks, go check these guys out. They're doing a good job.
I don't know what you have to pay them, but at this point, it is well worth the money spent.
Now, and that's a good point, because this company or this campaign is asking for $10,000. How much of that was because of that video? Who knows?
Who knows? That could actually be just to cover the artists.
It could be. We're going to find out
for the page rates.
Yeah.
So depending upon who's, doing the art, That is a big ask, though, because I had a client that wants to do a Kickstarter, and the artist rate is a bit, what they want to charge is fine, but to make it successful and to hit the necessary goals, it's anywhere between 8 to 10,000 just to cover and get a little bit of a cushion. So, I mean, I think they're trying to pay everybody in there, which is admirable, and I think the video definitely is helping deliver that deliver on that.
Yeah, I do want to give some positives, but I also want to make clear that even with as cool as it hit, that doesn't mean it's perfect. The good odds, obviously, the positive things. It's a very attention getting. It hooked us right away with. Let me go back to where we can look at it. Right, we had those drum beats. I've used that effect before, and then we have right away action with the animation of someone just getting shot and blood flying everywhere.
Just wasted. The spatter on the wall. I was just like, okay, that's really good.
Right, and then we start jumping into some fast actions, sound effects. And then the music and the I forget what it's called, but it's like a kind of a thematic beat tone throughout the entire thing, building and building and building. It's designed to keep you anticipating more and interest
until you get the crescendo.
Yeah. Most of the animation effects in here are pretty simple as far as there's not like. Let me mute this for a second. There's not like, anything going on right there. It's just a background plate that's moving. So pretty simple, but it gives some movement to it. It's kind of what I was saying on the last video with that opening shot of the buildings, like just zooming in a little bit gives some movement to it and it keeps it from feeling stagnant. So yeah, there's like that background plate. That's a downloadable pre-made video that you can get from some of these resources. But I'm actually going to do a little research on Fallout Studios and find out more. But let's keep moving on. So far, we got a great looking video. It set the tone really well. It has a combination of violence and sexy, so we know what to expect. But we don't really know a whole lot yet, except from the log line says Vampiress steps deeper into the seedy underworld of gangsters and demons. Don't know exactly what she's after, what she's trying to achieve, but we are hooked. We're interested. All right. It says, welcome back. This is issue 2, but new readers, don't worry. We have you covered with a digital catch-up reward and a physical catch-up reward. That's good.
Perfect.
Then we jump right into story. I love this little graphic here. And it says, Ruxy Vampire is a supernatural thriller about Ruxandra Tepes, the granddaughter of Vlad Dracula himself. Ruxy is a Selru vampire, a unique and tough breed that's a little closer to humanity. Blah, blah, blah. So you are born, not made.
Okay.
These differences make them hated by other vampires and prestigious trophies to vampire hunters. Hunted and hounded, Ruxy and her brother escaped by embracing the light of the sun in the 1880s. For a Selru, sunlight means being burned to stone, perhaps never to live again. I'm confused by that. Let me read that again. Hounded, Ruxy and her brother, who are Selru vampires, escaped by embracing the light of the sun in the late 1880s. Then it says for Selru, sunlight means being turned to stone. So
why would they embrace the sun if they're going to get turned to stone? Okay. Yeah. Maybe they're daywalkers. I don't know. Maybe they've got sunblock 1 million on.
Sunblock 1 million. They Ruxy and her brother awake, finding themselves in 1926 Chicago. So apparently, after 1880s, going out in the sun, they got turned to stone, but then woke up in 1926 Chicago. So that was a little unclear. I think that could have been worded in a clearer way. So Ruxy's never been interested in anything more than gambling, carousing, and getting into trouble. She sets out in the wild world of prohibition Chicago to make new friends and new enemies. If you enjoy mashups of history and fantasy like Nottingham or American Vampire, you'll like this. Okay, so there's just a lot of information here. I apologize for my pausing as I'm trying to skip to the parts that make sense. Spectress is the ghost of Cleopatra's top assassin trying to create a new identity to rejoin the world of living. She's bound by an ancient curse to a demon named Sabanian. He's whirling, burning engine of destruction. I don't understand what that has to do with Ruxy. So my advice right here would be to be a little bit clearer about what's happening in this book and less about the backstory of the characters. I would imagine a lot of that is being told to us in the first issue about who they are and how they got to Chicago. That's probably information that's going to be told to us, but that's not the story. That's not at the heart of the story. And I think a lot of people make this mistake, is that to them, the story is all this backstory stuff. That's not your story. The story is a character is trying to achieve something and something stands in their way. What is it? So we need to be left at the end with, are they going to succeed? Are they not going to succeed?
Right. And right there, I would take the opportunity to do a reverse hook. Like, do you want to find out more about the Empress, the Cleopatra, that whole sentence? Just reword that so that it's a reverse hook that people want to go back and read the first issue. Like all these questions are answered in the first issue as we carry on with issue 2. And I mean, and just build on that. It's too wordy. It's too much. And you're going to deter people from scrolling down to see more. So I as much as I want to know, now I'm confused. Just to Matt's point, I don't know why do I care about Egyptian gods? I mean, aren't we in the 1920s? I mean, so now all of a sudden we're interjecting, mythology and.
Uh-oh. Will he come back? He locked up. He froze like this. Let's all hold our arms out. Maybe he'll return for us. All right, I'm going to continue on and see if he comes back. This is a 32-page book, so a little bit larger than usual to answer Benjamin's question. Not quite a graphic novel. Josh, you put a spell on our boy Smurf. Why would you do such a thing? Now, here's another interesting one. It says free U.S. shipping for all physical rewards. That's pretty nice. I like how it says printed in the USA. Now, one thing that I want to say about books on Kickstarter, we see a lot of campaigns with sexy girls, right? And I'm all for it. But when I look at a book and I see all the sexy girls, I already know what kind of art and visuals I'm going to get. But I get really frustrated when I pick up a book and it's got all this stuff, but it's really like lacking in any sort of cohesive story. And so I'm looking for that. As soon as I see sexy books and sexy covers, I'm trying to pick apart, is there something here or is it just premise? And so far, that's mostly what I'm seeing. Like this says, what you'll get in issue 2 is a story filled with tough guys, moles, creatures of legend, demons, but that's just premise. That's not story. Like she's got to go get her brother because they've held her captive, and if she doesn't get to him, they're going to turn him to stone again. Things like that. That's the story part. And I find a lot of the times, and I hate to say this, these big, sexy books on Kickstarter don't have a lot of story to them. So my question to you guys is, do you care? Are comics something that you read for just that entertainment value and you just want to look at the pictures and you don't really care how deep the story is? Or are you like me and you tend to lean towards having a deep, engaging story and want to come back to it? Because, the internet's full of pretty pictures. I can look on the internet and just find that without having to invest in a book, right? So what do you guys think? That's my take on it. All right, so maybe Smurf will return. We'll find out. We got one more thing to check out here before we go. Is what are the backers? I agree with Benjamin. There should probably be some more pictures throughout here because there was a lot of reading, and I'm going to see if I can get down to some actual page content. So this is cover C, cover D, and these covers do look great. Here we go. So we're interiors, which is quite a bit down. I feel like maybe these could have been mixed in with the top, but here we've got some artwork here that looks good. Nice looking artwork. Chris says there has to be some level of consistent story logic, even if it's a little out there. Yeah, I mean, something that ties it together. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to have all the parts to a story. Like I said, is there a character? We got that covered. There's a girl and her brother. They're both vampires, special types of vampires. We got a premise. We got a location. But what are they trying to do? That's the part I don't know yet. And what stands in their way? Are they trying to stop the monsters? Are they trying to join them? We don't know. And without that, you don't really have an emotional investment in it. And so it's just it's just like looking and flipping through. When you have story, that's what makes us emotionally invested. And I can tell you this, every marketing team out there will tell you people purchase based on emotion. So if they're excited, if they're engaged in some way, they're going to be more likely to buy. So we do have some cool interiors. I would definitely have scattered those up at the top where all those words were, so that it was a little bit of words and then a picture and a little bit more words. I agree on that one. Let's quickly look at the rewards. We've got issue 2 digital PDF, $6, digital catch up, $12. And then print edition cover A is $22. Now, again, up above, it said this is free shipping in the United States. So $22 plus shipping. That's a pretty good deal, actually, for Kickstarter. Print edition cover B is $2 more. And then we got cover C, cover D, cover E, cover F, cover G, H. Lots of them. Here's our friend again. Welcome back.
I just had to jinx it by talking about shit about technology, didn't I?
All right, I'm going to scroll down here because we're running out of time. We got some early birds. I went too far. Lots of early birds. Early birds do help.
Early birds do help a lot because you're getting everyone excited and spreading the word, and you get the live, reaction and that dopamine fix of like, ooh, So I think doing early birds live launch like you did for the last Mythica are it's fun and cool, and you get people charged up about it because nobody really does it and takes advantage of it the way they should. Because you have fans, involve them, get them going, do it at a comic book shop and have like a live audience. There's so many fun things to do with early bird specials that I don't think people are taking full advantage of.
Yeah, I agree. It gets you jumped up pretty quickly so that you get a momentum going, and a lot of times that'll help Kickstarter boost you up in their search engines and their algorithms. Mm-hmm. We were just looking at rewards. Had some nice digital rewards. You can get both this issue and the previous issue for like $12 digital. Then their physical copy was $22, but that's including free shipping. Okay. Now their whale tier, no one has jumped on yet. It's $600, and it says get Ruxy issues 1 through 2, every naughty and every nice cover. Not exactly sure how many that is, but plus a random bonus metal cover. That's usually around $50 or so right there. 33 books in all.
Damn.
That's a lot. Yeah, they have a lot of variant covers. And includes the digital deluxe package. Features 40 interior pages, blah, 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 blah. So basically, you get 33 issues and the digital issues. Up above it, it has one for $350. You can get interior artist Mog Park will feature your gorgeous visage on a page of issue 3 of Ruxy Vampire. So that's a pretty good deal. Although I want to know what else it comes with, because it doesn't looks like it. It says you'll be featured as a carry inside pages of issue 3. You'll also receive the deluxe digital package and your pick of any unprohibited set. I don't know what the unprohibited set is, but I assume that tells us down in the sections. So I was going to say, as long as it comes with some comics as well as the comic that you're drawn in. So issue 3 should come with it, so that you get a copy of the book that you're in. But I think it comes with it. I'm not 100% sure. But
I would even tease it more that you would get the original page that you show up on.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I
think that would be just as cool and just as good as getting the third issue. I want my page.
I mean, I'm a big fan of being drawn into a book as a tier and as a just as a somebody who would love to pay for that. But at $350 to be drawn into the book, I also want to see what I'm getting. Like, am I getting some books as well as the book that I'm going to see later? Because the later book may not come out for months, And where's this one currently at? How long is this one going to take? So all in all, it's a pretty lofty campaign. It has a lot going for it. It's got a lot of variant covers. It's got sexy covers. It's got violence. It had a really engaging and exciting video, but it also has a huge goal. And it has some information missing. Like, I never did find out what these characters are trying to accomplish. Nope. It's just who they are and where they are. And that there's going to be some cool stuff in it, right?
They're all in the
You're guaranteed to have cool stuff in it. Yeah. But what it's about, we don't know yet. So yeah, I would say maybe adding that could bring you over the edge. But they still have 21 days to go. I'm sure they're going to be fine. So good luck to those guys. Go check it out, Ruxy Vampire. That brings us to our last one.
Devil's Contract.
The Devil's Contract, which I feel like we've seen this one before, and I didn't take it off the list. You tell me. I think we saw it 2 weeks ago. You tell me. Let me see if I can switch tabs, because I remember. Yeah, look at this. Didn't I comment on how this looked like the G.I. Joes?
Yeah.
I did. So we saw this one already. So guess what? That means we're back to the Wheel of Destiny to pick a new one.
Yeah, I'm looking through my notes.
Which might be Matt's Misfits Clubhouse. All right. The Devil's Contract. You looking at your past ones?
Yeah, to see if I can.
Oh, Benjamin said it was last week. With he and I.
Okay.
So thank you, Ben. All right. So we did that one last week. So we're back to the Wheel of Destiny, and maybe Matt
may luck out. Oh my God! Here we go. Wheel of Destiny.
Yes.
Will Matt?
All right. Here it is.
Spin the wheel and find out.
Number 3 again. Let's see. It's oh my God! It's so close. So close. Oh, within a quarter of an inch of being on Matt's. All right, we got No Spell Lasts Forever. Let me do a quick jump to that one. Let's see. Forever. There we go. All right. Now that brings us over to this one and our last one. Nope, didn't want to do it again. Doesn't like jumping tabs today.
I am not saying anything to anger the
Don't know why.
technology gods further.
Good job. That one. There we go. There we go. We're back. All right. So, thanks for bringing us up to speed on that. I knew I'd seen that one before, Ben. All right. So this one, our last one, is called No Spell Lasts Forever, issues 1 through 4. It is a noir contemporary fantasy comic. It's a lot of words. A magic-wielding criminal makes a deal with the devil for a second chance at life. All right.
Huh.
They have nearly doubled their goal. They had a $1,200 goal, and they're at $2,126 with a 124 backers. That is nothing to scoff at. 124 is a good number. And they still have 20 days to go as well. So let's see what this one tells us. Already, I have a good premise. A magic-wielding criminal.
Magic-wielding criminal. Not just any criminal.
Makes a deal with the devil for a second chance at life. So they already wielded magic. What did the devil do?
And
let's find out.
Did he die or is he about to die? See? Great.
I don't know.
I got so many questions.
So many questions. Let's find out. Let's go full screen. And they lived happily ever after. I feel like our last one and our first one had very similar tones to them. I mean, Josh says that music got me, as in it got you in what way? As in your emotional strings were being tugged, or you were like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, they're not going to get pinched for copyright. I think that's actually they recorded someone physically just playing the piano, because that just
maybe
sounded live to me. So okay, here we go.
Josh said it got him sleepy. That's what it did.
It was.
So again, a video is your greatest opportunity to set the tone. So what was the tone? Sleepy time, dream time, lovey-dovey. I saw a lot of connection between the character and another character, and so I got this very romantic vibe to this thing, even though in the midst of it I kept seeing shooting and banging and like someone getting killed. So that posed some questions. All right,
in between cuddles, somebody dies.
Somebody dies.
I got a real kind of like Spawn feel out of this, where Al Simmons, he loves his wife, something goes sideways, and then he becomes Spawn. So
I'm all choked up.
I guess so. Who knew?
So many emotional heartstrings tugging.
Oh.
Okay. All right, I'm good.
You good?
All right.
I mean, if you added a cello to the piano work, then oh my god, just the water
over the top.
Yeah, just right there. So what does the description tell us?
All right, it says, No Spell Lasts Forever is a 6-issue comic series written by Sarah Cook with art by Eze Di Savino and Amy Howley. Scroll to the bottom of this page for a 4-page preview of Izzy's gorgeous pages. All right, at least they're telling us where the artwork is at. That's a nice.
It's good.
thing.
It's a nice switch.
This campaign will raise funds for the 4th 24-page issue. It's an urban fantasy about a magic user named Rosette. After meeting an untimely death, makes a deal with the devil for a second chance. But can she follow through with it, and what will it mean for the fate of her eternal soul if not? This comic has eye-grabbing displays of magic, romance, and some pretty exciting fight scenes. But most importantly, it's a story that ultimately has a hopeful message about the power of overcoming self-doubt and allowing yourself to realize your potential. All right, so I think this is trying to get a lot of different things going on. Like Marvel does this, where they're like, it's funny, it's action-packed, it's emotional, it has all these things, right? It's tough to like. You want to get as many different people as possible, but it's also harder to pitch. So so far, I commend her for trying to put all this stuff together. So I still don't know a whole lot about the character. I know that she's trying to get a second chance at life. I don't know if the scenes that we're seeing are before or after she made her deal. But I have questions, so that's could be considered a good thing. We got the cast. This is where they talk about the characters. And this is where we talk about what this particular issue is about. I feel like if you have a multiple issue thing, it's important that you pitch what this issue is, because we may only be getting this issue. And then if we like it, we might go back and get the others, right? If you do a campaign where like, here's the 4th issue, but you really need to get all 4 in order to know what's going on, that turns me off, because I'm like, now I have to, I feel like I'm being pressured to invest in all those issues. So this one says, at the end of issue 3, Elspeth and Vic cross paths, realized they had a common cause, killing Rosette. In the new issue, Rosette has to deal with the fallout from this formidable team-up and finds herself fending off increasingly intense attacks from them both. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking down as the deadline for her bargain with Lucifer is quickly approaching. So I would say that this is a pretty good pitch in that it says there's some characters that are after our main character, who I believe is Rosette.
Yep.
And and she's trying to fend off these attacks, and then the clock is ticking. So that's always got a nice thing, because it gives some drama and some message to it. So I feel like here. I feel like the opening part, Elspeth and Vic crossed paths and realized they had a common cause. I don't know right away, because I just stepped into this, who Elspeth and Vic are. So you could just say 2 characters, form an alliance to try and kill our main character, Rosette. And then I'll find out who they are later. Because it doesn't make any difference that I have names with them if I don't know who they are, right? Nope. If there's something special about them, like 2 characters with abilities, or 2 characters with a grudge, or they're somehow related, then use that. They're both exes and they both want to kill her because they know she's alive, or something.
Or a sorceress and a demon find out that there's a common goal to take out Lisbeth. As something
who they are, rather than what their name is more important. But I feel like that's good information. I love that you put that in here, Sarah. And then we have covers. Very cool looking cover there. This almost has like Josie and the Pussycats, or even like a Scooby-Doo kind of thing going on a little bit. So we got some variant covers, nice little homage cover there. Yep. And then some chibi style covers, and some I thought that was cosplay for a second. That's 3D. And then down below, I want to see these previews. So we got our previews. We've got some action going on. Nicely colored. Like all the purple standing against the yellow backdrop. Benjamin said he's actually read and reviewed the first 3 issues and said he would definitely call this a drama.
Okay.
All right.
Nothing wrong with drama.
No. Well, one of the things I can usually tell right away when it is there's probably going to be some meat and potatoes to this story. Mm-hmm. I find that, if it's a drama, that there tends to be more there, more character development, more actual, real world stuff. I feel like a lot of times, and I hate to say this, guys, but when it comes to superhero comics, people base their whole comic off of, well, my character has this ability, or my characters are in this environment. And that's all just premise. That's not a story. That's just the setting. All right. So we've got a quick look at our tiers. We got a digital tier for $5, a digital catch-up tier. This is absolutely fantastic, guys. All 4 issues for $8. That's $2 a piece.
That's a steal.
That's a steal. I love it. Standard issue covers only $10, and the variants all go up. $13 for the first one, $18 for the second one, $22 for the third one. Again, this is my personal opinion. You guys can, make your own opinion, but I don't see any reason for a variant to go up unless it has fewer made prints. If there's only 10 or 20 or 50 or 100, that's understandable, but say that. Say this is exclusive and only available on Kickstarter, whereas the standard issue cover I'm going to have in stores all over the place. That's how I do it. And
you want to give the investor or the fans something unique. That's why they're here, and a lot of people back Kickstarters for that reason, because they're getting something, some one-off they're not going to find in the stores, and they're here to support you. So give them some kind of reward, and cap your variants. I mean, 1 out of 10, and you don't want to carry that extra inventory. Nobody wants to carry that.
Yeah.
No.
They do have a great deal here that says you can get all 4 covers for $40, which is only $10 a book, whereas one of those covers was $22 all by itself. And looks like their biggest tier is $150. You get a signed copy of issue 4, signed copies of the variants, a sticker, a pen, all the digital rewards, and all backers who pledge at this tier will be invited to a virtual meet and greet with Sarah and be invited to be interviewed for Sarah's Substack. So there you go. Some one-on-one time. All right.
I like that.
All right. So pretty good rewards, pretty good. Lots of story here. I feel like they're already, crushing their goal. They've over doubled their goal. And 124 backers. So that's honestly what you want to see out of an issue 4 is higher numbers. That tells you that people are getting invested in the story, getting invested in the characters. When you come back, you see issue 4 and they got, 10 to 20 backers. It makes me a little leery. But this one's doing great.
Well, and I think they're building on their fan base, which is something that you and I have discussed at length as far as, people coming in, you want to appeal to new ones, as well as giving, the ongoing fan something to ride out, to see it to the end. So I think it's a good mixture of both. So I think they're doing well, and the word of mouth is helping.
All right. Benjamin says there are so many crowdfunded comics that are a Spider-Man clone, but about a young teen with new powers, but not much behind that. Yeah, I agree. Gotta have something beyond just your premise. So, you know what that means?
There can be only one.
There can be only one. That means it's time for us to decide on a winner. So to recap, we've got local comic shop, LCS, number 1 and 2, the post-apocalyptic. We got the Ruxy Vampires, and then we got No Spell Lasts Forever. This is a tough one. So we got a post-apocalyptic comic tale, which intrigues me premise-wise. I remember that video was a little lacking. Then we have the Ruxy Vampire, which is sexy and violent, but we don't know what's going on. And then we have No Spell, which told us a lot what was going on. So what do you guys think? Which one do you feel like most intrigues you? Leave your comments below. I'm putting mine down here. And if we don't match up, we are going to have to spin the wheel again, which means I'm going to need to do a screen capture of my wheel so that I can put all the names back in. All right. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
I am. Let's get that drum roll. We did not agree today. All right. While I clear out the Wheel of Destiny, tell me why you chose yours.
I as much as we have like questions on the Ruxy Vampire, I do think that the presentation and pitch and the visual on that is a lot more pleasing, more professional, more eye-catching. I mean, as much as I love No Spell Lasts Forever, it didn't. I don't know. Both. I guess at the total package, you're looking at Ruxy Vampire definitely checks more boxes for me.
I get you. I think I can't disagree with you, especially on the video part. It definitely intrigued me a whole lot more. I think in the end, for me, it came down to which one actually intrigued me as a consumer. The sexy and the violent part, I knew it would be entertaining to look at, but I really didn't know, much about what was going on. And the post-apocalyptic comic book shop just appealed to me just a little bit more as far as like relatability. And Matthew Eden says Ruxy Vampire is fire. I agree. And honestly, I would back either one of these comics. I'm intrigued by both of them. It was a tough call for me. So we're at the wheel.
To be honest, I'd back all three of the comics if I was given an unlimited budget. All three are definitely different niches, but all are very, very intriguing, very engaging, and I think there's some main character-driven stories here. They're not short on the story side of it, because I'm sure Ruxy Vampire, as we start figuring out all the different nuances with vampires, that we'll get all those questions. And I want to know what happens in the last days of the comic book stores. I mean, come on.
All right, so we're down to 2, and Destiny must help us decide because we couldn't choose the same today, and that happens sometimes because you know what, Smurf and I are 2 different people. We have different things that intrigue us. So, which one is it going to be? We're going to find out right now. Everybody, hold your breath as we click on the Wheel of Destiny.
Deep breath.
Deep breath. Go.
Oh. Go.
Looks like Ruxy Vampire is our winner this week. Congratulations. You are the winner. We'll be backing this, so we'll be making a post. If you guys know the creators of Ruxy Vampire, be sure and shoot them a message. Kurt Zauer looks like the name. Be sure and shoot them a message. Let them know. All right, before we head out, a couple of plugs to help us keep moving. This show costs us every week. We have to pay for StreamYard. We have to obviously we want to support the campaigns, and so we are always looking for sponsors. But you can also help by supporting on Patreon, patreon.com/ Action Line Studios. There are several different tiers. The first one is just the Mythica tier, where you can see the behind the scenes making of content. There's also a tier just for this show where you'll get these videos sent to your campaign or to your email every week. Plus, when I get the books that usually I get digital books, I share those digital books to the backers on that site as well. So you also get to read some of these books. And there's also an Action Line After Dark tier with all the sexy, spicy, not safe for work stuff. Each one of those tiers are $5, and it helps us continue to make this show. You can also get the books, my books, hoodies, t-shirts, and all shirts like this on my website at actionlinestudios.com. You can also support us by going to all of Smurf's sites. Smurf, where can they find you at?
You can find me at 5280geek.com, Facebook 5280geek, Instagram, YouTube, any major podcasting platform under 5280geek, Weekend Geek Update. So I am everywhere you want to be. I am Visa, but in a Smurf size package. But come support, give us the loves, give us some shares, let everyone know about the dirty little secret that we are. And we got and if you're local, next week I will be at the All Seas Collector Showcase for their spring fling, and we will be putting up some unique items for auction in the live auction. One of our local collectors extraordinaire, Smitty, passed away at the beginning of the year, and the original Denver Comic-Con art is going up for auction. Smitty had that in his collection, so we are going to auction that off, and of course the funds will go directly to his widow to help with expenses and everything else. So stop by, say hi.
That's awesome.
And I'll give you a Ghostbuster sticker. If you come by and say hi to me, I'll give you a Colorado Ghostbuster sticker. There you go.
There you go. That's worth it right there.
There you go. And on the bombshell, we shall say goodbye. Give us a like, give us a share. But in the meantime, run fast, laugh hard, and always kind. Good night.